It's not commonplace to hear tires being rotated inside of a brewery, but at Marsh Island Brewing, it's not so out of place.
I was running the craft beer selection at Hogan Road Deli in Bangor, and yeah, just one day we were sitting in the office and kind of fell into my lap.
Marsh Island Brewing, located inside Sweat's Auto Body in downtown Orono, was opened last August by head brewer Clayton Randall and craft beer manager Richard England.
It gets challenging whenever we have deliveries because we're trying to share a bay with them and getting deliveries of bottles and grain in and whatnot, and trying to stay out of their way.
Alice Sweat, the owner of Sweat's Auto Body, came up with the idea and funded the project.
Ricky I've worked with for a long time in the store, and Clay, he's bright, he's company oriented, he's a perfectionist. Everything he does, he's not going to do it till it's the right time. I mean, he doesn't go head first into anything, so anytime he's not brewing for us, he's brewing to perfect the recipes that we use. So I have, complete faith in them.
Clay won a local home brewing competition 2 years ago, while Richard ran the craft beer selection at the Hogan Road Deli, which is connected to the Sweats in Bangor. When Alice approached him with the idea, it was an easy choice.
I had thought about that it would be cool to work in a brewery, but I really didn't think that it was actually going to happen at any point in time. But I always thought I'd be more on the sales side, but now I'm realizing that I'd rather do the operations side of it than doing the sales. But
Richard and Clay knew each other for a few years before they started the brewery together, with neither really knowing where their friendship would be headed. Neither could have imagined that they would be brewing beer together. Work in the brewery sometimes doesn't begin until 6 at night after their day jobs get out. Working a daytime job and running the brewery is a tall order, especially for just two people. But to Richard and Clay, it's really not work at all.
yeah, it's a project. I like projects. Projects are fun, and this is definitely it's one of the best projects I could ask for. So.
The most difficult, or perhaps the most tedious part of the process for Clay and Richard is labeling the bottles, which they do oftentimes late at night, right inside of the brewery.
That's just doing the same thing over and over again for hours straight. We have it down now so that we can do a whole batch in about 5 hours, so it's not too bad. In the beginning, it used to be like 10 or 12 hours here, trying to figure out problems and doing all that stuff. But yeah, now it's not too bad.
Brewing beer is a growing industry in Maine. There are nearly 20 more craft breweries than there were just 4 years ago. But the competition that Richard and Clay face in Orono, from other breweries such as the Orono Brewing Company and the Black Bear Brewery, has been more helpful than it has been competitive.
Even though there is some competition in wanting to get your brewery known, it's still everybody's working together, and we're really working less against each other and more with each other in order to promote this area as a beer destination.
Even though the brewery has only been open for a few months, Alice, Richard, and Clay are already thinking about their next plans for the brewery, including a small tap room where there's a hallway in between the garage and the brewery.
So, I mean, within the next 2 years, we hope to have a tasting room and to expand the brewery somewhat.
Be able to come in and see the operation and sit down and try the beer and be able to talk to us and whatnot, which we are working on that. It'd be nice one day to have a little more room to work around it.
The two have built up a solid following in both the Bangor and Portland craft beer scenes, largely due to their dedication and love of brewing beer. As they say, they're not trying to take over the world, they're just enjoying what they're doing.